Hello fellow Titan Quest fans! Sometimes when you are creating a build, it can be fun to look at the epic items and try to figure out what the developers were thinking. What build did they have in mind when designing that item, and how can I reverse engineer their intended build? For the Rambo 2, I already assumed the intended build to be my Might Bow Exploder. Then I found the counterpart of that bow, Storm Strike. This build is centered all around that one. This time it's an agility bow. It deals some nice lightning damage and also has a higher crit chance when generating 3 overwhelm. The idea here is to make a ranged build that maximizes attack speed. Our primary attack has volley, which gives a chance of firing multiple projectiles. These additional arrows can crit. So we maximize attack speed with the rage mechanics of Warfare Mastery and use Storm Mastery to support our lightning damage. The Crit Shocker build, that's how I call it, can also blink and teleport around. You can evade any enemy attack and get around the map fast. The kill speed against mobs is very good and fairly decent against bosses. It's more on the boss killer side than my usual builds, to be honest. As usual, let's start with the pros and cons. Beginning with the pros, the build has insane movement that lets you blink around the map. The build has a high kill speed for mobs and bosses. The high APM, actions per minute, playstyle is fun and thrilling, because one false move can get you killed at a boss. Where there's light, there also has got to be a shadow. Or the cons in this case. The high APM playstyle is not everyone's cup of tea. If you like your builds better, if you just have to hold down one mouse button, this build is probably not for you. The build is a glass cannon and can die easily if you exhaust all your blinks and dodges at a boss fight. Before we talk about abilities and passives, let's go over masteries first. The build is a Tepest, which is a combination of Warfare and Storm. We are a primary attack build, so we benefit greatly from the rage mechanics. Both of those masteries support rage, so that we can get a maximum of 16 rage stacks, which makes us attack super fast. Every other attack is 6 arrows because of the primary attack modifier volley, and most of our shots crit. This is a recipe for insane damage. Combine that with insane movement and the safety of a range build and you got some overpowered build right here. It's a dual-edged sword though, because you can die easily if you don't pay attention. The Crit Shocker uses the rage passive Battle Rage and we use the feat's rage amount to get +3 max rage stacks and rage on kill because we don't care about the healing. This build is pure offense. Storm has the rage support that we need all the way at tier 3 with Raging Storm. Use the feats Rage Amount and Rage Overflow. That one recovers energy. This really comes in handy for our AoE damage ability. I'm talking about Rain of Arrows. With our primary attack being the main source of damage, our Rain of Arrows is a good complementary spell. We spam that all the time, be it on bosses or on mobs, to deal huge AoE damage. That ability rains arrows in waves, so we can sometimes spam that almost all the time during boss fights. We use the modifier Consume Overwhelm because this synergizes greatly with our playstyle of doing primary attacks and then using Rain of Arrows. The Consume Overwhelm modifier alone multiplies the ability's damage by 2.5. We also use Downpour to have additional waves. This one is great for boss fights. 1 point in focus damage. This one deals some extra damage when you face a boss alone and 1 point in enhanced ailment, just to get a good ailment chance on all the waves. We are dealing lightning damage, so we need the Storm Aura Storm Nimbus. Here we get lightning imbuement to convert all our damage to lightning damage. This one lets our Rain of Arrows deal lightning and shock damage. We also max out Storm Enhancement to boost our lightning damage. The next centerpiece of the build is our core skill Primary Attack. We are a pure rage build, so we max out Onslaught of course, to get a whopping additional 2% attack speed per rage and also 1% increased total damage per rage stack. At the maximum rage stack of 16, we have an increased attack speed of 32% and deal 16% more damage. We attack super fast, so let's benefit from the insane attack speed with maxing out a volley. This gives us a 60% chance to fire +6 arrows. Each of those deals 70% less damage, and we don't care about the aim chance. The additional projectiles can crit though, which is very important. Even with 70% damage reduced, a crit can pack a punch, especially if you rapid fire everything into the ground. Put the obligatory point in Tailwind to penetrate the first target. Our dodge ability is also maxed out, because it's just that important for the build. The crit shocker has many active points to spare, so we can jam them all in our dodge. We use the dodge to reposition ourselves, deal more damage after the dodge and get around the map faster. Max out dash attack to increase the damage and crit chance after the dodge. In order to be able to spam our dodge, we want to have 1 point in cooldown charge. This one is enough because we also have our blink. Put 2 points in celerity to have increased attack speed after the dodge and also 1 point in each distance and teleport. With the dodge maxed out, the build feels super powerful and almost untouchable if you don't mess up. If you like what you're seeing, consider subscribing, commenting and liking the video. This boosts the algorithm and would help my channel out greatly. Thank you. The rest is mainly support skills that scale our damage and crit chance. We are a weapon build, so we max out weapon proficiency with the modifiers critical chance and attack speed. That demands no further explanation. Max out marksmanship with the feats projectile damage and projectile penetration. Storm has the counterpart for that with Storm Guidance. Use speed and penetration. To further scale our damage greatly, we use the passive Storm Attunement. The feats projectile damage and weapon damage are also a no-brainer here. Just this passive increases our lightning arrow damage by 77%. We also use the passive Arcane Influx just to have energy regeneration. We also put 2 points in blink and use the modifier repeat. You are able to blink twice where you click. Then after a few seconds you can teleport back to your initial position. This one is really cool for boss fights because all the blinks, teleports and dashes make it really easy to dodge abilities. Let's talk about items. To maximize our damage with the insane attack speed and the high number of projectiles, we want to deal critical hits as much as possible. For that, we don't actually use the bow Storm Strike. It was just an inspiration. What a shocker, right? The bow is lacking in critical damage, that's why we need something that packs more of a punch. What we want is a rare agility bow that has the inherent stat of +5% base critical chance and also a high percentage of increased critical hit chance. Ideally, your bow also has the charged prefix that gives a big percentile increase of lightning damage. The prefix Slayers is also great, which increases the weapon damage. You also like to see crackling that gives flat lightning damage. This bow here has strike damage on it, which is not ideal but okay. The item is insane enough. Of course, our shoulders need increased crit chance. The rings also are a big source of damage if you get the ideal stats. You go for critical hit chance of course. Optimally, you also have flat lightning damage and also the suffix of nature, which gives a percentile lightning damage increase. Both of my rings have all of these 3 requirements. Your arm armor needs increased attack speed and increased lightning damage. But more importantly, you want the inherent stat dodge recovery rate. The build dodges around a lot, so our boots also need the same inherent stat, and also ideally both movement speed and movement skill cooldown. Your chest armor needs good resistances and vigor. Your helmet also needs resistances and agility. Increased energy regen is also okay. Your amulet should have resistances and the prefix stately, which increases all stats, so we get a little boost in our vigor and agility. Optimally, your amulet also has agility on it. If you don't have all of that, go for resistances and energy regen. Potions need health and energy regeneration. Coming to attribute point distribution, we are not doing anything crazy here. Focus most of the points into agility to increase our lightning damage. This build here also has some flat strike damage on the bow, so that gets scaled by fitness as well. If it had flat poison or pierce damage, that would also be okay. Our end ratio for agility to vigor should be something like 4:1. We don't want to have no vigor at all, otherwise an enemy sneezing could have us compromised. We are a glass cannon build, but it's better to survive at least a little something. Let's talk about strategy. I almost feel sorry for the mobs. By the time an Ichthyan guard channels up his strike ability, I can teleport around the guy 3 times. You are practically impossible to kill for mobs if you don't mess up completely. Just dodge away and shoot them immediately. Being a ranged build, we can attack the enemies when they are barely visible on screen, sometimes even if they are off screen. It doesn't get much safer than that. It basically is a requirement that you get your control options going. You gotta use a key for stationary attack. For me it's the shift key. If I hold that down and click the primary attack, I can shoot wherever I want without a monster being targeted. I also like the playstyle like old Titan Quest the most, where you do your basic attack on left mouse button and your main ability on the right mouse button. The other abilities you can bind on the other mouse buttons for easy access. Anyhow, the crit shocker is not shy to use rain of arrows on mobs as well. Rain is a great tool to deal some AoE damage to enemies that are not lined up nicely. If they stand in a circle, just drop rain of arrows on them and finish with some primary attacks. For bosses, the build needs to adapt its strategy depending on the boss. The Hippocampus, for example, can kill you easily with a few ice shards or the big lightning attack. Those are hard to dodge. If your gear doesn't have good cold and lightning resistance, you can swap out some modifiers of the aura Storm Nimbus to get some resistances just for the fight. Most other bosses are really easy. Just dodge away when they use their big abilities and spam rain of arrows on them and shoot them all the time. The kill speed for bosses is also not bad, if you utilize the dodge and attack strategy correctly. Dodge, attack, rain of arrows, repeat. Repeat that a few times and all the bosses are going down. That's about it. I can really recommend this build. With all the teleporting and blinking, the crit shocker build reminds me a bit of Path of Exile, where high level characters just blinked across the map and shot everything down within seconds. Tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next one.